Now with my phone set back to 1080p, for some reason I switched to 480p some time ago, I don't recall when, but hopefully things are a little more crystal clear now, because today is part 3 of my Chaos Space Marine pile of shame. This was not built by me. This is a second-hand demolitioner kit. Not going to go in that dark story. It's kind of funny, but still. But yeah, as you can see, this person didn't really take the time to dry fit everything first and do some filing and cleanup. Because I mean, like literally, look how splayed out that is. So, in the past, I pre-painted this tank to kind of get a glimpse of what I wanted for a Space Marine Chaos chapter kind of color. So bonus for me is it's already primed white. We got the copper already in. All I gotta do is go around with runic gray. I've already speed painted this bit of the barrel here. But I'm hoping most 7 layers of paint I was able to peel off at the time. I've still got some thick spots and some peeling. Will kind of help add to the worn out look this tank has seen many a days of battle, and it being chaos. It's not going to be completely up to snuff. But still does a deadly job by the deadly machine gods of the demon world kind of thing. Maybe do a bit of nurgling goop to get that green stuff kind of looking a little more convincing or something. Yeah, anywho, I'm going to put the blade and this piece I've got the prime aside. So I guess the first step is to, well, I'm going to prime all this armor in runic gray. Get it out of the way. I'm going to take my, I have a big dry brush here, but I don't want to use that. I do have a couple of really big Citadel brushes. They're large dry brushes, but I bought 2 of these, so I had one to dry brush with, and the other, well, as we can see, I got some gunk going on in there. That was my wash brush. So I'm going to go over this guy with my really large dry brush. Get him set up. Be quicker that way. And then I can just go back in with my, let's see, this one here from Army Painter. You know, some people diss these triangle handles, but I actually like them. A little more relaxing for my finger setup. I can see the appeal of the round one too. But this one actually gives me a little more control than these round ones. So yeah, then I'll probably go back over with weaponized bronze and touch up some of this bronze work. I do want to go for a beat up look too, because like I said, it's kind of splayed there, right? Then I'll use some of this homemade effects. Again, a shout out to Geek Gaming Scenics for that snow idea. When add some more water to mine, make it a little more mushy afterwards. And do some detail on the track and mud, make it all gucky. Okay, so runic gray. I don't need that. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. I went back over these creases here to put a bigger pool in because I really want to darken those edges up. But going along, even with this large brush, I noticed this primer paint doesn't seem to take well to the what was it? The speed paint. Now, I did clean this model up quite well before I primed it there a few years back. So, let me mop that. Gonna have to, yeah, maybe do a couple of coats with this. For some reason, it doesn't want to. Yeah, like it's pulling away, and it's pulling away into like these really weird bubbly clumps. That's odd. So I'll let that dry for a while, and come back and see how everything looks. And if it's going to look pretty shoddy still, what I may have to do is, especially the front, I can cheat it on the front, but not so much the top, is get a piece of sponge and start dabbing on paint chips and metallic or dark colors and go back with a small brush and just punch in some brighter colors in the center, I guess. Because, I mean, we got a dozer shield. Still. I'll think of something. So I've given this several hours to dry, because, you know, my basement's a little chilly, so things react differently down here in this part of it anyway. And it's not looking too bad. I mean, you can see where it's kind of pulled away a lot from as if there was something on the surface. Like even down in here, it didn't stay. It went back to the primer color. And over here too. It's almost like as if something absorbed it. I almost wonder if this GW matte white spray used at the time was maybe not a very good matte white. That or remains from the simple green was still on there before I primed it, even though I washed it thoroughly and let it dry thoroughly too. It's hard to say. Overall, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I am trying to refurbish this tank, but it's been on the shelf a while. So yeah, I'm not going to bother with the underside. I am going to paint the track probably back to here on each end because they've gone to terrain. You know, maybe they'll see underside a little bit more. Hard to say. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be, let's see. I definitely want to try the sponge technique and put some chips in it later. Scuff up these sides with metallic edges, like especially down here, put metallic paint, and just a dry brush all over that. And pick these out. Like with these tanks, there's not a whole lot of detailing I need to put on them. But we'll slap the logo on the back at some point, and on this door. I'm not too sure about this door if I can get to fit in that door. I might be able to. I'll see. But yeah, this is going to be one heck of a recycling job. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to quickly go back over these edges here with some runic gray. See if I can't get them to stick down in here too. And then I'll begin the next task of blocking out my exhaust here, these vents, the vent back here, and look at the model and see how I can scratch it up. It's now the next day, and my efforts are still kind of in vain. I think when I primed this, there was still some simple green solution still stuck in the old paint, even though I washed it thoroughly, dried it, washed it thoroughly again, and dried it. It just, I don't know. Hard to say. But most of the tank is painted up in runic gray, where it counts anyhow, and doesn't look the best. Not with the way things are going. But I must move on, and well, I guess tonight I will start with the fans, these vents, the smokestacks, the gun, and the tracks, and I will start painting some metal up here, just grunge it up, because why not? Oh yeah, and metal in there too. Yeah, see how that looks. I also need to figure out what I can do to pop in some more of this copper color I'm using. Because right now, as it is, it's pretty plain and open to having some more. So I'm thinking on certain panels, like here maybe. Maybe around here, put some copper, weaponized bronze, or what's called on it. just to help break it up. Just to help break it out. Try to find other spots for it. Maybe like even up here too on this door part of the hinge. And those two there. That would help it out, wouldn't it? Maybe. Maybe even down here in the vent holes. Not the vent holes, but this here for striping. Well, let me get the palette ready. We'll soon find out what works. Well, the bronze, found a couple more spots on top. It actually does help pull away from the main body color. So that's good. Wish I could do a little more for the front here, but it's alright. Excuse me. So, from this point forward, I'm going to finish up the main body. I'm going to pick out the lens on the guy, the lights here. I think I'm just going to go with like a red lens for all these and then touch them up a little bit afterwards. Excuse me. To help show that, you know, I'm evil. Or no, hang on. I should probably go with blue. Maybe? Maybe go with blue? Because their helmet lens will be blue. Let's do some red. I'll pop that out. Where's my red? Here we go. Pure red. I'm going to go with some pure red. And then I may touch them up with some speed paint here. Some slaughter red or something. Just to help darken them down a little bit. Give a little more some effects or something. And of course, as handy as these bottles are, sometimes you just gotta go in there with a little needle. Okay, maybe not. But definitely don't force it out if you can help it. Go like so. There we are. Yeah. As much as these paints are way more last longer preserved with a screw top to cap, the fact that you can still get these clogged is a bit of an issue. Whereas Games Workshop's bottles, I mean, you got like you pop the top, but they don't seal as tight. There we go. So, yeah. I'll do this up, and we'll be right back. Come on, get off my finger. Well, not gonna lie, I could use a lot smaller blob, but that little gob, like just about the size of the tip, did all that for paint. Well, I needed it for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. And I got access, but that's okay. Can move on now. Leave that for a bit. And I'm going to start doing up the dozer shield. I've kind of already gotten the front lower bit done. I'm going to do another coat. This is pretty rough. And the back side of it. But I'm thinking about doing up like some kind of like hazard pattern stripe like thing here. I don't know what you guys think about that. Like I've seen it on some other models before, but I'm thinking about adding that in there too because just to help break away from what is a runic gray paint job. Now because this is already a wet palette, I don't really add any water to it. Just gonna go along, do a nice even coat. I do plan to go over this entire dozer shield as well with the light tone wash to go with the rest of the armor. Make it look a little more worn down. And even as I apply this metallic paint, we can see it doesn't want to quite stick. Even right there, to go over that little spot there from the, it's got to be that simple green. I'm pretty darn sure I got it all out. I'm pretty sure I did. But if it sticks to old paint, that could be a problem. So, gonna, yeah, see? Don't know how that comes up, but right there, just pulling away. Just putting the coat on top. Yeah, even down here on this edge. So, fun times. Fun times. And I'm going to go around this cupola here. Gonna make it weaponized brown at some point too. I will say though, this rough surfacing from the old paint really is really does add a little bit of depth to it from this other one I have. And I also just realized something. I don't have any little chaosy bits for this thing, which is missing. So I have to go through my bits drawer, see if I can't find some to stick on this hull too to even further make it more chaosy. If chaosy is even a word. Maybe it is now. Alright, so I'm just gonna finish this up. And we'll see how it looks after I'm done. Well, that's the dozer done for now. This paint does dry pretty quickly, but I'm going to let it sit overnight so I can go back in the morning and do a nice clean coat of metal over any bits and pieces I might have missed or kind of been separated from one another. As for the front, though, it didn't turn out too bad. The darkest yellow I have from this paint set is Demonic Yellow, and even then, it's not too bright. Still nice. And it covered nicely on the white paint. I didn't have to go back and use several coats just to get what I wanted. But yeah, it's already after midnight, and I'm going to call it a night. Come back tomorrow and do a little more of this cleaning up that I'm doing right now. Just trying to get some more of this yellow onto where I should be hiding some more of that white. Get them mixed a little together. And if you think I should have used masking tape, feel free to tell me how bad my freehand is below, because I don't care. Yeah, you gotta get better at it somehow, right? And if you don't do it, you're not going to get better. And I may never get better. Such is the limbo of things. You know what? How's this going to cover on black? Ooh, not bad. Alrighty. Some more yellow there. Alright, so yeah. Army Painter's Demonic Yellow does a really good job. Probably not as good on black. On white it does a good coverage, but black, it's going to probably take multiple coats. Maybe 2. Anywho, I'll come back tomorrow and do a little more tightening of this model up. And I think... Oh, I should probably put some of these headlights. There we go. Splash on some Demonic Yellow in there. Going wet. That way when it dries, we'll still have some of that metallic I put on there earlier coming through. But yeah, I'll do some tightening up on this tomorrow. And from there, I'm going to grab a sponge and start... Or no, I'll get a sponge, but I won't start paint chipping until I do the whole thing in light tone. Now, yeah, it's not looking too bad. I am aiming for, like, you know, a bit of a rush job to get these things painted up. At the same time, I want to try and make these bigger models look a little nicer. But the way this primer adhered with green stuff, or maybe the primer just doesn't like these newer paints, I don't know. Either way, it's been a bit of a headache, and hopefully the one for my own Space Marine chapter doesn't have as many headaches. So while I had my phone on the recharge, I went ahead and finished up doing the other bits and pieces, logos, of course, freehand. I did the entire wash. I went with a heavy wash. I wanted this thing to look just as gruesome as this layers of paint that I had to prime over, that kind of whatever there, right? And of course, I went different directions up top. I went straight down on the sides, the back, the front, and this side as well. I got all the crevices as best I could. I also tried some, what's it called? Gravelord Gray on the barrel. Because normally I dry brush black to show, like, you know, a muzzle buildup. And I did the same thing with the smokestacks, Gravelord Gray. And it looks pretty good. It looks really good, not gonna lie. And same thing with the shield. I went extra heavy with the wash and made sure it pooled in these edges because I want it to look grimy and darker. I'm gonna have to go a little more here again. But then again, maybe not, because I'm gonna probably put some snow effects and mud in here just to help add some detail. And same thing with the back, you know, just went straight down, and then had it pool in some spots where I want it to look, you know, like it's starting to rust. And one thing I realized is I never put any Gravelord Gray on this to show that, because this is a demolition or siege cannon, right? It's gonna be a big boom. Speaking of big boom, I also painted up the round for it. Uh-oh, got some black paint from something there. Oh well, I'll touch it up tomorrow. But yeah, I went with like I remember back in the military, big casings, different tips, and I forget which color this one represented. But you know what? It's big. It's big. It's going to explode onto something. So I made it blue. I think the blue was the high explosive rounds. I think. I could be wrong. I might be thinking... Alright, I can't remember. But anyways, it's blue. So it pops out, it stands out, and just adds something to it. So these have been drying for 3 hours, and it's like 2 minutes to midnight now here Wednesday. I'm going to let these sit a little longer. If I get time tomorrow before work, I will finish up that blast effect on this one here to grime a little more, and then just go over and just dirty this track up. I'm going to build up some mud and snow in the back of this thing. Maybe build on the front. But I definitely want to add some to like the top of this, like where it would build up, like, let me get this brush here, for example. Like build up around the fans here, get stuck in there, and put a little bit here, a bit in the front where the guy's sitting. You know, just to add some realism to it, even though my paint job is very realistic, let's be honest. But it just adds to the cool factor that it's a big model. I gotta do something to make it pop out from the troops, and even though I'm just doing a quick job as possible so it's ready for the tabletop, it's gonna look really, really good, I think. Really good. And there are some spots where I just let the pooling pool. And I still got red paint underneath this. Whatever. Adds to the peel, I guess. So it's been a couple of days, and I love how this is turning out. I did go over with a black dry brush on the inside edges just to make it a little more darker. I could go back again and do another coat over top of that and make it just a little thicker, but yeah, that's fine. I don't want it to be too dirty and grimy. Now, something I'm going to try, though, is sponge speckling on chips of paint. As if this thing's already not ugly looking enough, and like you can see where layers of paint were coming off from previous old paints. But I just want to try it out, because I've never done it before. And I'm just going to try and make this less uniformic and just peel off a little more here on this one. I don't know. Maybe this one. Come on, get off my fingers. Oh, doesn't look too good, that one. I'll try this one. Try this piece. Just toss the rest of these out. Yeah, guys, I was watching some paint chipping videos, and some people use a sponge method, and go back with a brush and do some tidying up, and then do a little layer more, and a layer more, and a layer more, and I'm like, well, if I just do like a metallic layer, all along here. Excuse me, my throat's a little parched today. And along this side, where the treads are, it should help it pop, you know? Now that's done, it's time to prepare the basing bit for it. Oh, I should glue this on too. Do that afterwards. So yeah, I'm trying to think how much of this to apply, because I want to get some around the front, or sorry, the back, but not so much the front. But I want to put like a little bit along here, as if it like went in and out something, but more so on the blade. Excuse me. Whew. So yeah, let's close this. Where is my little... Here we are. Let's make some more room, get the brushes out of the way. Ooh, yes. Sandy and grimy. Leave that all to dry. And once it's dried up nice and good, I'm going to be adding a bunch of my snow effects to it. And again, I got to thank Gaming Geek Scenics, or was it Geek Gaming Scenics, for the ideas on how to make some of this stuff. Okay. So I forgot how long this process takes to dry exactly, but it's dry enough that it should be able to still hold while I add in some of my homemade snow effects. And I did go and add a little more glue to it this time, just to help wash it in some more, and a bit more water. So, I'm trying to debate how to apply this realistically, because, well, as best I can. I know at the back treads here, we're definitely going to get snow build up. That's for sure. I need a stiffer brush for this. There we go. I figured the fans would have like a puddle around them in a way. This thing's going forward, so there'd still be stuff clotted around the front here. You know, that sort of thing. See if I can't get a little something here, maybe. Now to do the dozer. I'm actually almost out of this stuff. So, time to make some more, I think. Yes, definitely. Because this is going to need a heavy coat of fake wet snow. And not as glossy because I only have matte medium. But hey, it works. So it's been a few hours now, and everything is really coming together. I like how this is turning out. Smells like PVA glue, that's for sure. Nice. So, yeah, I'm going to let this dry overnight, and I'm going to give it a good matte spray can of matte varnish. And once that's done, I'm going to assemble the shield to the rest of this Vindicator, glue it on, and of course this pit at the back, and it'll be complete. But I must point out, it's still missing a gun if you haven't seen it so far. I looked up the rules for Chaos Vindicators, and because this is previously a Loyalist one, it still hasn't had any real super chaosy bits on it yet. it would have like a regular storm bolter or something. So I went through my bits and I could use a storm bolter on here, but after going through the rules, it says it's a combi weapon. Or a combi bolter, yeah, combi bolter. So I think I'm going to hold off on that for now until I get another kit in the future and make up a combi bolter, because I could take that storm bolter and then cut it out and put another weapon piece on for a flamer or melta, what have you. But I don't have any flamer or melta bits left. I don't have any. I got them used up. So yeah, I'll leave that blank, and he's going to be, well, holding on to a big pair of metal-looking binoculars, I guess we'll call them, for the sake and sanity of it all.